Well, here's the Shenandoah Visitor Center on this rainy day. It doesn't look very crowded. I wonder why.
After that thrilling week at New River Gorge, I'm on my way east to see Shenandoah National Park in Virginia for the first time. Virginia is a state that is rich in U.S. history, so I decided to make the most of it during my time here. I had an overnight stay in Lexington and made a visit to Confederate General Stonewall Jackson's house. The home is located in downtown Lexington, and I'm sure it's luxurious by 1860 standards. $8 gets you in, and there's an online audio tour that takes you through the home.
His home closed as a more efficient way to heat the room. The Jacksons love to entertain family and friends here in their best parlor. And of course, if you're going to be entertaining family and friends, you want to make sure you have some of the finest furniture.
Not far from the home, you can walk to the cemetery where Jackson and his immediate family members are buried. Put on your raincoats, everyone. It's time for a meteorology lesson. My week at Shenandoah was dominated by a weather phenomenon called an omega block.
Omega block.
The weather system is shaped like the Greek letter omega and causes a persistent ridge of wet and cold weather west and east, while keeping things warm and dry in the Midwest. Finally, I would be commiserating with my loved ones back home in Washington, as we were all experiencing the same weather at the same time. I figured my 3 straight months of weather luck was going to run out sooner or later. Now, the persistent cold, clammy weather causes another challenge because there are no electrical or water hookups at Shenandoah campgrounds. The primary concern over a 6-day stay was to somehow have enough power to recharge the park hoppers' batteries daily so I could run the furnace at night, which was getting down into the 30s. Busting out my solar panel wasn't going to work, obviously.
So it's been cloudy and cold here at Shenandoah National Park. And so my little lifesaver is that generator right there. So I bought that generator just before I left. Whew, and with no sun and the cold temperatures, if I didn't have that and 6 nights here, I would run out of heat. So thank goodness I have it.
So the challenge was on to explore the area. Omega block be damned.
Omega block.
The visitor center at Big Meadows is a good place to spend a couple hours, especially because there is no cell signal at the campground, but there is free Wi-Fi here. I learned about the area history, including a fascinating section about desegregating the park during the civil rights movement. I got suggestions for good hikes, if the weather eventually cooperates. And then, you know those brochure racks that advertise local tourist attractions? The rack at the visitor center has what? Luray Caverns nearby. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my caving days were not over at Mammoth Cave. I honestly couldn't think of a better place to be than sheltered in a cave at 54 degrees where it was warmer than my campsite up at Big Meadows. These caverns are privately owned, so I was kind of lowering my expectations for how well done they would be. I was very pleasantly surprised. The pathway was level, wide, well maintained, safe. The caverns were expertly lit. The formations were absolutely magnificent, so I'm going to say, yeah, it was worth the $32 admission price. Tours are self-guided, and with the rain outside, you bet, I dad strolled the entire way. My favorite feature was Dream Lake. In all the caves I've visited so far, I hadn't seen anything like this. The cave ceiling is perfectly reflected in the lake surface, which was still as glass. So it gave this kind of otherworldly effect that was mesmerizing. Mitchell suggested I could visit Thomas Jefferson's home at Monticello, which is about an hour and a quarter's drive from Big Meadows, so not too far. It was a cold and rainy day up there at Big Meadows, but down here in the valley, it was warmer and not so wet. So thank you, Mitchell, for the suggestion. That was a great idea. I get a chance to expand my knowledge of U.S. history. There was a lot to see and do at Monticello's extensive grounds. Of course, a must is touring Jefferson's home, which you can only enter with a guide. Our third president and the author of the Declaration of Independence was really a Renaissance man. He obviously was a great writer, but he also was into inventions, gadgets, exploration, and education. This is his personal study, and after seeing this space, it explained to me why westward expansion and the Lewis and Clark expedition were such a focus of Jefferson's presidency. It's filled with books, journals, telescopes, maps. So now I'm remembering back to Gateway Arch, and the pieces are all starting to fit together. Maybe he was supposed to be president at that time. Another person might not have cared so much. Of course, you know me, I'm not rushing to get back to the cold weather up in the mountains. So I took time and looked at everything. Touring the grounds and seeing other historical structures took another couple hours. You can see where Jefferson is buried and also spend time in the museum. Here they have an 1823 copy of the Declaration of Independence on display, while there's an audio recording of someone reading it to you in its entirety. You know how it goes. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. But did you know that Jefferson owned 600 slaves over his lifetime? Did you know that Jefferson is depicted on the front of the nickel and that this home, Monticello, is depicted on the back? I came away seeing Jefferson as an important visionary who expanded our country, but also complicated and flawed like the rest of us.
I have a visitor this morning here, Shenandoah National Park. It is a balmy 41 degrees here at Shenandoah National Park, and I'm on my way up to the lodge because there's Wi-Fi up there. It's the watering hole, and I go up there every day to just sit, have a hot chocolate, and work on videos or do my emails or do my travel journal. And they let people from the campground just sit in the great room at the lodge, and it's great. There's a fire going. It's so warm and comfy. And then I'll come back here tonight. I got my generator out, powered up the batteries for a long 37-degree night. Brr. So what's kind of cool about my camping spot back there, which you can see, is it's really close to, that's where the laundry is, that's where the showers are. And so if I had been on the other side of the campground, way over there, it would have been a much longer walk. Also, just past this building and up the hill there, that's where the lodge is. And I'll show you that as we get going here. Oh, wind. Oh. This has been a wonderful home during my stay at Shenandoah, the Big Meadows Lodge. I'll show you why. Let's go inside. Morning.
Good morning.
So this is the great room. It's just a beautiful, beautiful big room. That's my table where I've been doing work and video production and checking emails. Beautiful sunsets, beautiful view. Yeah, this has been great. What a nice place to rest. All right, and over here is the breakfast buffet. Isn't this fantastic?
I got a good couple of weather breaks to enjoy what I consider are the two gems of Shenandoah National Park. First and probably most well known is Skyline Drive. This is the mountain road that runs the entire 105-mile length of Shenandoah National Park. The speed limit is 35 miles per hour, so driving the entire length is going to take several hours, especially because along the way there are 75 places where you can pull over, snap a few pictures, learn some history, learn some geography, and just soak in that view. Gem number 2 is the Dark Hollow Falls hike. This is about 8 miles round trip, leaving directly from my campsite. To get there, you follow the Appalachian Trail. I simply cannot believe I was on this very same trail when I was at Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. There are two wonderful payoffs along the way. First is Rose Falls. As you make your way to Dark Hollow Falls, you can see that you're now hiking alongside the Rose River. This section of the hike was absolutely spectacular, and I consider it the best hike of the entire trip so far. I kept pulling my phone out of my pocket to snap photos all along this section.
Okay, this is Dark Hollow Falls. You see it back there?
As I'm headed northwest to Cuyahoga Valley National Park in Ohio, I'm thinking that I was really grateful for this slow-paced week at Shenandoah. It was just what I needed to recharge my batteries after the adrenaline rush of the New River Gorge.
Alrighty, I am exiting Shenandoah National Park. A great visit. Thank you, Shenandoah, for everything.